Children, have you ever met the bogeyman before? No, of course you haven't, for you're much too good, I'm sure. Don't you be afraid of him if he should visit you. He's a great big coward, so I'll tell you what to do. Here comes the boogeyman. Don't let him come too close to you. He'll catch you if he can. Just pretend that you're a crocodile, and you will find that bogeyman will run away a mile.
Good evening, everyone. The Guild of Fools tonight are going to be playing Call of Cthulhu. I'm Craig. I'm going to be running the game. I'll go around, give everyone a chance to introduce themselves and tell you about the character they're going to be playing.
I guess I'll go first. My name is Andy. Nice to see everybody. I'm playing Professor Thomas Carlton. I am a professor of history, a 47-year-old man.
I'm Josh. I'll be playing Alex Royce, a middling investor, 28 years of age.
I'm Keaton. I'm going to be playing Jimmy Killigast, correct? I'm 20 years old and I'm a student.
I'm Chris. I'm going to be playing Janet Kolova, a 26-year-old fortune teller.
I'm Joe. I'm playing Nicholas Burnquist, a 31-year-old vagrant.
All right. Sounds good. So with that, we'll get started. Everyone here has been invited to a lodge run by Patrick Flaherty. Thomas understands why he's here. You've invited Jimmy along as a promising young student. You think that he might be able to help you and Patrick in what you're doing. Everyone else, with the exception of Chris, has received letters or has come here of their own volition. Nicholas has some information that he was hoping to sell to Patrick. Patrick has asked you to divulge this information to a small group of people that he's going to be assembling. Alex received a letter stating that it might be in his best interest to attend. They might have some information related to what he's looking for. Madame Kolova was brought here as a person to help gather information when possible. It was through some of your abilities that Patrick was able to put together a list of people to come here and help. One other person was giving an invitation. That was the reporter, Jimmy Dolan. He is currently not here, but he may show up at a later time. The lodge itself is mainly a members-only club, lies in the outskirts of Arkham City, just to the south of the city. It's tailors mostly to gentlemen. There are a few ladies who come there and work there. It is basically a gentleman's club. Although prohibition is in effect, it is 1926, Patrick has a way of getting in some bootleg liquor when needed for some of the clientele to make sure that everyone here is happy, and it's a chance for people to go to a place and forget about what's going on. So with that, Patrick has gathered everybody into a large sitting room. He's asked everyone else to leave. Patrick is a Irish gentleman in his late 30s. He's a little on the portly side, but he seems to be in good humor most of the time, although there are some dark rings around his eyes and some wrinkles where there ought not be based on some of the stress that he's had to deal with. You know, there was an incident before at the lodge that was in the news several years ago, but he's managed to rebuild the lodge and everything seems to be going okay for him for the most part. Some of you have a little bit more information about Patrick, but that's between you and him unless you decide to tell anyone else. I'm glad everyone was able to make it here tonight. I know Thomas understands why I brought you here. I know that he's brought a friend with him. There's a story that I believe Mr. Burnquist has that I think everybody might be interested in. I believe this has some connection to your doings here in Arkham, Mr. Royce. Yeah, I don't know how connected it is, but
I'll have to wait until... Yeah, I know Mr. Burnquist.
You've met him already.
Yeah.
That's good. In addition, I have another gentleman here who may have some additional information, but he is a little hesitant to speak at the moment. While Nick regales you with his story, how be speaking with him to see if I can coax him out here to tell everyone else. Otherwise, I'll merely relay the information myself. If you would like to entertain them with what you saw and what you told me, I'll see to it that you get your payment afterwards.
Are we talking about payment now, or are we talking about payment later?
Later.
If you don't mind, I'd like to quench my thirst.
Of course.
Thank you.
A small glass. You understand. He goes over to a cabinet. He pulls out a bottle, grabs a glass, pours out a small drink of some brownish liquid. I think everyone can figure out what it is at this point. And hands it to Mr. Burnquist. You'll get the rest of your payment when you're done.
That's great. That's great.
And with that, he leaves the room.
Hi, how you doing, bud?
I knew you were a fan of the drink, but have you picked up any other substances lately? Seems like
I don't know what you're talking about.
a little jittery. This is the last time I've seen you.
Yes, the boss here called me in. As you may or may not know, I am a purveyor of your streets, and happened one or two nights ago that I no longer have the ability to tell time. I saw an incident, and I'd like to kind of relay this to you, as Mr. Patrick had said, for payment. I happen to be minding my own business near a warehouse, and I saw something that was pretty grisly. I saw a person, I think, kind of, how do I say this in front of the lady here? Disembowel a bunch of people with his bare hands. Am I right? That disembowel is disembowel is probably the right word, medically speaking. So that's my story. Probably need another drink for just remembering that. And good luck with your Boy Scout club or Girl Scout club here. All right, I'll be in the back if anyone needs me.
Whoa, slow down, Berquist there. How much did you have to drink on this night, this occasion?
We talking liters or gallons?
Does it make a difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
I assure you that I have had from time to time maybe some blackout periods or some, but nothing. I don't hallucinate.
So you can tell the difference between an episode of losing consciousness.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I assure you what I saw was real. Especially the blood.
And only you.
And the organs.
About how many people did you tear apart?
Yo, it was a small group of people that tore apart one person.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You were going along with the story. I didn't want to interrupt too much.
Well, it was, now my memory's coming back to me a little bit here. I may be wrong with one person doing all this. It looked more like a group of people may have done this. I'm gonna need another drink.
For those people who don't necessarily know if this guy's being straight with them, we'll use that term for the time being. You may attempt to make a psychology roll to determine whether or not he is lying to you.
And that is done by?
That is done by rolling percentile dice and trying to get under or equal to your skill in psychology.
Yeah.
I have succeeded by 5%. Oh wait, no, by 41%. I read that.
That's a difference.
I failed as well.
Yeah,
That motherfucker's lying.
Everybody else has their doubts based on how much alcohol he seems to be consuming and
how
how
he
much
just
alcohol he's
changed his
consumed.
story.
Confused about drinking.
let me reiterate.
You get the
here.
general feeling that it may have been alcohol induced, but he definitely believes that what he's telling you is the truth. Like, he believes that he saw this thing happen. Most alcoholic episodes, without being a doctor and knowing what that's going to entail, like, you might see some things, but it's still based on something that you actually saw. It's just going to change what you saw. So chances are good that he saw something, even if it wasn't necessarily what he's explaining, but he definitely saw something happen.
No,
Are you sure it wasn't just a gang or something beating somebody up?
no, I've been a part of that.
Where did this happen?
Alright.
Well, I'm sure Patrick wouldn't bring in
It happened at the east end of
riffraff
town.
into the lodge.
I hope not.
Any landmarks
You'd
near
have
there?
Patrick first.
There's this new near a warehouse there,
Okay.
but I don't know how many I know how many warehouses there are.
There are a few in that area.
Yes, I can just tell you what I saw, and I can tell you.
You and only you. No one else.
Well, let's see here, Sonny Jim. This happened at night, in the darkness, with a group of people. And when you try to fillet someone alive with your bare hands, I don't think you're going to go to Main Street, on Memorial Day and pull that stunt off. You're going to do it in a nice, secluded area.
Did they meet that man there that was torn apart, or did they bring him there?
I have absolutely no idea. I can only
Did you
tell
see
you.
what they were wearing?
I'm going to have to refer to you on that one.
You didn't make out too much. You made out some shapes. The shapes looked a little off to you, but that could have just been the alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to assume that they were just people.
Yeah.
But they were clearly ripping this person up, and also remember that they were devouring this person. It wasn't just ripping them apart.
Yeah,
They were
it was
eating
devouring. I'm trying to save that for, the end.
Okay.
I'm trying to... I'm trying
How
not
do you bring
to...
that into the
So what-
conversation? Oh, by the way, they were eating them.
What did you do when you saw this?
Well, besides, running away and, puking, I told the police. I told them the story, and they put me in the joint for a few days. They thought I was drunk.
You're drunk now.
I'm not
No
drunk
offense,
now.
Mr.
I'm enjoying a drink. Thank you very
You were
much.
drunk before you came in here.
I
I had to help you up the stairs.
All right. Well, maybe you did. But I'm not. I'm kind of sober when I talk about this. It sobers you up when you see someone, rip out organs and start eating them.
I wouldn't know.
Eating them.
Yeah, they ate some organs.
Now they're eating them. Him.
Yeah.
Alright. I heard enough.
Oh, I'm sorry, son. Did you serve in the Great War?
No, I didn't.
Then why don't you sit down and shut up?
I plan on it.
Because I have, and I've seen some weird
So
things.
compared to what you've seen in the Great War,
This was nothing.
the incident was nothing compared to what you've seen in the Great War.
Oh no, the Great War was nothing compared
Okay.
to what I've seen. And I've seen some really crazy stuff when I was sober. This is wow. That's all I can say. Is just wow.
At this point, the door will open. Patrick will come in along with a sheepish-looking gentleman. Appears to be in his early 20s. He appears to be wearing work overalls and a blue-collar shirt. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't know how far your explanation had gotten. I talked to our friend Steve here. Steve is one of the workers down in the warehouse district. Steve, would you mind telling them what you told me? Steve kind of looks around like he doesn't want to be here telling anybody about this, but at the same time he looks like he needs to say something to someone. He's like, okay, so over the past couple of days, maybe the last week or so, there have been places in the warehouse area that we were told not to go. My job is to go there and stack up various crates and make sure that things are labeled properly and put away, but they've been sectioning off areas of the warehouse that we're not supposed to be going to. The other day I had to get a shipment, and they just happened to have closed off the area where I needed to pick this stuff up. Well, I couldn't go back and tell the guy that he couldn't get a shipment because I think he's one of those mob people, and you don't want to piss them off. So I figured, okay, that's fine. I'll just go in there quick. I'll grab what I'm looking for, and it'll be fine. And I went in there, and it was horrible. It looked like a slaughterhouse. I mean, there was just parts of something all over the place. There was blood everywhere.
Here, Steve, have
Okay, if I can have that for a second.
It's for Steve.
We have enough people drinking in this room.
Okay. You
Just calm down there, boy. You'll be fine.
you see him take a drink, and then he gets a scrunched look on his face, like he's not used to drinking anything, let alone some of the bathtub gin that is served around these parts. Okay. I didn't want to tell nothing to no one, but I asked around some questions, and apparently there's been some outflow. Like they've been bringing in a lot of people to get stuff cleaned up in there, mostly flushing everything down the sewers and whatnot. And there have been some other people talking to some of the sewer grates in the area look like they've been moved. I don't know what's going on, but Patrick asked me to just tell you about this. He was asking around the warehouse area, and I just don't know. I've talked to a couple other people. I don't want to tell people what I saw there. I don't want them to think I'm crazy, but I can't risk losing my job. I have to keep going back there. I didn't know if there'd be anyone who could look into this. The cops don't seem to care. I mean, there've been disappearances down in that area often enough, and they don't investigate any of them. So I don't know what's going on anymore.
So this is the same area. This is the east side of town, where the warehouses are.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve's got my back here.
What?
Stuff's happening. I don't know what to tell you.
Can I go, Mr. Fire? He's like, that's all right, son. You can go. Thank you very much.
I will take whatever drink you have.
Steve will walk out. So, I'm certain with that, in addition to Mr. Burnquist's story here, I think you get a general idea of what we're looking at. Some of you are aware that this thing is going on, some of you aren't. Thomas has been helping me try and deal with these kind of situations for a little while now. It's stuff that the police can't look into. It's stuff that I don't necessarily know if it's anything sane people should be looking into. But somebody has to try and stop these things from continuing to happen. You have your reasons, Mr. Royce, but I believe this is something that you are also looking into. It may be connected. I don't wish to pry into any of your background or what you're doing, but I thought you might like to hear this. Jimmy, Thomas says that you're a very promising individual. I hope that you are going to be willing to help with this.
More than willing.
Madam Clova, I didn't know if you might have any additional information to add on to this. I know you're hesitant to give us any information using whatever you can, but I didn't know if you might be willing to go with to help investigate the area to see if you might notice anything out of the ordinary.
Certainly seems like you need my otherworldly expertise.
Indeed. Mr. Burnquist, in regards to your payment, I'll be willing to give you 1 now. And I'll give you an additional 1 if you can take us to the warehouse where this happened.
Oh, sure, no problem. I got no problem doing that for you, boss. No problem at all.
You see Patrick go to the cabinet, open it up. You hear the sound of a couple of bottles moving around. He reaches towards the back of the cabinet and pulls out a bottle of actual whiskey from the pre-Prohibition era. Brings it back over and hands it to Nick Burnquist.
Thank you, boss. Thank you very much.
Now, please refrain from drinking too much until you've managed to give us the directions to where we need to go.
You know what? This is so generous of you, and since I don't know what the other payment's going to be, so nice. Really, really nice. I'll personally accompany these fine people. Some fine people.
I will stay here. I'm still waiting for John Dolan to show up. I don't know if he's running late or if anything has happened. I don't want him to arrive here and have no one be here to greet him. If the rest of you would be willing to go look out, if there's anything that I can give you that you might need on the way, please let me know.
Well, there is one thing that I think we're probably going to need.
Yes?
You wouldn't happen to have a first aid kit, would you?
I'm sure we can scrounge one up for you.
That'd be fun. Let's make sure there's some. I'll go through it.
It's always best to be prepared.
Yes, it is.
If there's trouble with the reporter,
Mm-hmm.
you have a way of letting us know, getting in touch with us.
Well, if you'd like to stop back here, I can let you know. The only other option would be I can dispatch a courier to leave message for you at your places of residence. Present certain members accepted. I apologize. But I can send a message to your residence in case there are any problems with the reporter. If he does end up showing up here, I'll attempt to meet with you at the warehouse. If I get there and I don't see anyone, I will not go into the area. However, I will attempt to meet you at some point in the morning. At this point, when Patrick first called you here, it was about dusk. At this point, between getting everything prepared and going over everyone's story, you're currently at about 9:30. So at this point, the warehouses should be mostly shut down for the night, although there might still be some people finishing up some things for the evening. It's up to you whether you want to spend any additional time waiting, or if you'd like to go now, or if you want to go someplace to get any supplies you think you might need. The equipment that I wrote on the back of your character is what you would generally be carrying with you at any given time. You do have access to other items and equipment at your place of residence within reason. If you ask me if you have something, I can let you know. If not, you can always attempt to purchase it from the general store.
What was the name of the young man that,
Steve.
Steve.
You know where he lives at all?
Patrick does not know where he lives. Steve has already left the room. As soon as he told his story, he just wanted to be anywhere but here.
Patrick, do you know if there's any way you can have somebody follow Steve?
I believe the young man's been through enough.
I could probably arrange for somebody to keep an eye on him.
At least find out where he lives. Just in case we need him again, I would like to know where he is.
Okay. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
I think it would be a good idea to investigate now. The warehouses are closed down. We won't have anyone asking us our business.
Now? Really?
Craig, would I
Now?
happen to have a set of lockpicks?
Do not
in my
drink
shop?
any of that. I do not want to
Yes.
fully recreate the scene
I'm
for
gonna
you
make a
in
stop.
case you have an episode.
Okay.
Would you mind if we stop at my shop? I'd like to pick up a couple supplies before we go to the warehouse.
Some people do have vehicles. They should be written down the back of your characters. Unfortunately, I believe it's the two characters that
Aren't here.
aren't here.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Patrick does have a vehicle, a Chevy Superior, that he can allow you to borrow for transportation.
I can't drive.
And, what's the date again?
I could try to drive.
September 28th, 1926.
And what time is it right now?
9:30.
9:30.
Rather, I'll drive if necessary.
All right.
It might be.
I just don't
Let me make sure we get the first aid kit.
Yep, Patrick will come back with a first aid kit. He generally keeps one on hand at the lodge just in case there's any accidents. So you don't have anything... There's not anything medical grade in there. It's mostly bandages, a couple of different... can't remember words.
Stuff.
Yeah,
Stuff.
it's got general first aid stuff. It's got a couple of antibacterial.
Does it have alcohol?
Peroxide.
It would have.
It would have some
Yeah.
distilled alcohol for cleaning wounds.
That's fine. I'll make sure to take that too.
You may need it.
I definitely need it. Alright, I think that's all I'm gonna need.
Is the plan to head out now then?
We're gonna take his car to
My
Fortress
shop.
Shop.
I'm also going to be picking up my Derringer.
Okay. Alright. With that, you make your stop. By the time you get to the warehouse district, it's a little after 10 o'clock. Most of the lights in this area are out.
Oh, before at her shop, what's in her shop?
Well, it's a fortune teller shop, so she has some curios hanging up. There's a couple of tables, chairs, a deck of cards, a crystal ball that is lying off on a shelf.
I can't steal that.
Not anything else that you might...
Can't barter with.
Yeah, it's a lot of mood decoration, from what it would appear to you. Various flowers, incenses, other such things. Typical gypsy trappings.
Yeah.
There's a series of cloths hung across the banners.
Any books?
There would probably be a few books.
I'm gonna grab one that basically... I'm gonna wait till... What's sleight of hand in this one?
Sleight of hand.
There is a
Or is it gonna
sneak.
be sneak?
It would fall under sneak.
Okay.
There's a hide. There's a sneak.
Yeah.
Are the percentages next to the skills?
No.
The percentage,
I fumble along with
the percentages that
If
are next
you
to the
don't
skills are the
mind, I'd
base
rather you
ability.
don't
If you don't
touch
have
those.
points in it,
Oh,
then
sorry.
that's what you're rolling
Sorry,
against.
just it's been a while since I read.
The only skill that cannot be attempt without a rating,
I have no
attempted
idea
without a
what this
rating,
is.
is Cthulhu Mythos. Everything
It's
else
in
can be attempted,
Romanian,
even if it's only
please put
1%
it
chance.
down.
And anything in Latin?
No.
It's a shame for Gypsy. Well, at least nothing in Latin. No wiki spells.
I'm from the old country, sir. I'm not as schooled as your other mistresses.
I have mistresses. This is the only mistress I need, sweetheart.
Drinking ain't easy.
I'll just let it go.
So unless there's anything else people want to do,
Sorry. we're going to this gypsy house. Okay, well, I'm gonna...
the way towards town, the way towards the warehouses through town, once it hits about 10 o'clock, most of the people generally go indoors. The people who've lived in Arkham know that that's just a thing. It's generally not safe to be out at night. Most people tend to stay indoors. They're also a little leery of people who travel at night. There have been enough mysterious circumstances in Arkham that they generally keep that to a low profile. A lot of the police reports end up saying that it was wild animal attacks, and Arkham is up against a very large forest that is still yet to be fully explored, so it's generally accepted that the wild animal thing happens on a fairly regular basis. There's a lot of wild dogs, wolves, and the occasional mountain cat will come in the city. Generally not during the day, mostly at night. They'll tend to kick over people's trash cans, so they tend to keep a fairly low profile. A lot of people keep guns in their houses in order to deal with the animal problem and maintain their own safety. So again, carrying weapons openly is not frowned upon in the city. Some of the more high-class establishments will look down upon it, but carrying a sidearm is generally okay. Walking through streets with a shotgun or rifle will garner you some very suspicious looks, but it is not technically illegal. Traveling towards the east end of town, as you get closer to the warehouse area, you'll notice a lot less street lights are on. The light seems to be more and more sparse as you go. The shadows seem to envelop the entire area in a cloak of darkness. Based on some of the things that you've seen here, it seems almost like the general vicinity itself is taking on a more sinister appearance based on some of the brutal things that have been mentioned happening here. It gives people a general sense of unease as you pull into the warehouse area. The warehouse where you saw the attack happen is the second one in.
Okay.
So you have the option of either parking outside of the warehouse area and then walking in, or you can drive directly up to the second warehouse. From where you are, you don't see any people around, but the car does tend to make a fair amount of noise.
I'll park a good distance away.
Okay?
Yeah, you sure you want to walk it?
Yes. There are.
Okay.
Stealth has its advantages, and this is one of them.
I think he's asking just because he's not very sure-footed right now.
Um,
He's had a lot to drink.
I agree with that.
Well, it's not that. It's just, if you don't want to run too far.
The
Especially
story
from-
that you described to us earlier tonight.
Yeah.
Now, I have my suspicions that there are some things and some people doing some things in the shadows. I don't want to make our presence known to them. I figure we need to take it easy, make sure everyone is out of the warehouse in case something happens. I don't want any worker to get hurt or any surprises.
You're a real humanitarian, you know that? I'm not. I could care less if Steve, the warehouse guy, gets gutted. I don't want to get gutted.
You could just stay here in the car all by yourself then.
That's even a worse option. So no, I'll stay with the group, and hopefully, I'll survive. Hopefully.
And hopefully we've captured your curiosity, so tune in for the next part. Find out what we found at the warehouse.
Ba-ba-ba.
And